Greetings everyone, my name is Jonathan Bailey and I'm from the website Plagiarism Today, which can be found at plagiarismtoday.com. Happy Friday everyone, hope you're looking forward to the weekend. It's our first weekend after first full weekend after Hurricane Isaac recovery. We're kind of looking forward to not dealing with a hurricane this weekend and hopefully being able to have a little fun and relax a little, maybe get some work done in our haunted house. Now usually on Friday I talk about tech stuff, and usually it's browsers, what the latest alpha or beta of this is doing, and all that jazz. And while I would love to talk about it, honestly with Hurricane Isaac I haven't had a chance to do any testing, so I don't know what the latest Chrome alpha or Firefox beta is doing right now. It's something I'm going to have to experiment with next week. But I do want to talk about a tech issue that came up during Hurricane Isaac and was very annoying. In fact, I think very dangerous because the more I think about this, the more it irks me because if um, if I hadn't been aware of it, well, not specifically this situation, but in other situations, it's easy to imagine, someone not getting the help they need. It could result in, some very important miscommunication, and it has specifically to do with iPhones. And iOS 5, I know iOS 6 is coming out soon. In fact, the new iPhone 5 is coming out, announcement on September 12th, looking forward to it. But as most of you probably know, with iOS 5, Apple released its iMessage platform. Basically what that is that it's this text message substitution. Where instead of sending a traditional SMS message, you're sending a text message like an SMS-like message, but via the data network. And that's alright, that's pretty cool. And I actually really like it because I have a lot of friends who use iPhones, and I also have a Mac, so I use messages on the Mac, and I can communicate with all of them, including my wife, via the computer rather than trying to, sit here and punch it out like this. So that's great. But there's a problem with it, and it's a pretty significant problem with it, because after the storm, the two primary means of communication we had working in New Orleans were text messaging, SMS, and Facebook, data messaging, because the cell towers were in such a way that you couldn't place a voice call. You would try, in fact, there was an incident where I tried to call the police the day after the storm, could not get a voice call out to save my life. I tried 4 or 5 times before eventually I had to give up. You can't get a voice call out in that type of situation, but you can oftentimes get text messages, and usually the data network would work at least well enough to do edge messaging. To do edge, so that way you could do like Facebook Messenger and that type of stuff. So it worked pretty well, and we were able to keep in touch. But one of my friends had an iPhone 4. But being my friend, he dropped this phone repeatedly until it broke into itty-bitty pieces, and eventually had to get another phone. Now, he took the opportunity to get a new Droid. I don't remember which kind he got, but it's really nice. I'm going to ask him about it, because if the new iPhone 5 announcement doesn't impress, I might be getting one for me. But it was a really cool phone he got. But like I said, not an iPhone. And so every time during the storm I would go, or immediately after it, when I went to text message him, my text to him disappeared into the ether. His got to me just fine, but every time I would try to respond, nothing would happen, and I would get on Facebook and I'd be like, "Hey, what's going on? Did you not get my text message? We're trying to, get some help to you," because they had some bad, not bad damage, but they had suffered some damage to their house, and we were trying to get them with supplies they needed, maybe come over and hand cleaning the yard, that type of stuff, just minor stuff. But I'm not getting responses to my text messages, and it's really confusing to me. Well, it turns out my phone was attempting to send him iMessages, and I didn't even realize it or think about it until much later in the game, and he, of course, having an Android phone, wasn't getting them. And it was weird because iMessage, the message app in the iPhone, was marking everything as delivered, even though very clearly they were not actually getting there. And so this really creates a pretty thorny situation, because the only way to work around this was to disable iMessages on my phone entirely. That means I couldn't message my wife using it, my friends who did actually have iPhones. I had to turn it off for everyone. I did it for the duration of the storm. But what he has to do is he has to go into his iCloud account, now that he has internet access back, and disable his iPhone. And I've told him to do that. Hopefully he remembered to do it. I got to get back in touch with him on that. But the point of the matter is, this is ridiculous. This is causing messages to get lost in ether. And I looked this one up online. A lot of other people are experiencing this problem. People who switch from iPhone to Android are having text messages get lost all the time, and Apple is doing absolutely nothing about it. It's a well-known problem. It's been around for months now. Apple is doing nothing about it, and it's very, very frustrating. And the real problem is multifold here. First, Apple is not indicating in any way, shape, or form that the iMessages aren't being delivered. There's no warning after any length of time that message is just sitting on their servers and has not been pushed to their phone. No warning whatsoever. So I was completely unaware. If it had been for messaging them on Facebook saying what the heck, I would have had no idea. The other problem with it is that there's no way for me in my phone to turn off iMessages for just one contact. I have to turn it off for everyone or for no one. I can't just say that person no longer has an iPhone. Please don't attempt to send them any iMessages. Switch to SMS for him. No way to do that. So basically it's all or nothing. I have to turn it on or turn it off completely. And that's a big problem. And the final thing is there's no clear indication when you turn in your iPhone, when you switch out, that you have to do this. He was not warned of this problem. He was not notified of this problem, and took no action to prevent it. And why would he? So basically, this is something where, Apple's got to get on the game here a little bit and really make it so that the transition from iPhone to an Android or to another phone is a little bit more smooth, and that people don't lose important messages. Because while I understand Apple probably is a little bit less than compassionate about this because they're losing, it's a customer that they're losing, the truth of the matter is text messaging, especially in a crisis situation, can be critical information. It can be critical information anytime, but especially in a crisis situation like a hurricane where access is limited, text messaging becomes a lifeline. And to have those messages not be delivered because of your product and the inept way in which you handle people transitioning away from it, it's unacceptable. And frankly, it's just another reason why if the iPhone 5 announcement in a few days doesn't really impress me, my next phone will not be an iPhone. That's what I'm saying there. Well, anyways, on that note, everyone, just wanted to make you aware of that problem and hopefully add a voice to the choir of people asking Apple to do something about it. So until next time, this is Jonathan Bailey signing off.